"Hey, what are you doing here? People like you don't belong here." The words tore through the air like thunder ripping open a calm sky. They weren't whispered, they weren't muttered under breath. They were screamed, spat out with venom, hurled like stones in the middle of a busy city plaza where every eye turned and every ear burned. A white police officer, face red with fury, chest puffed with arrogance, stood towering over a lone black man who had done nothing but exist. And before I take you deep into this heart-stopping story of humiliation, suspense, and ultimate justice, smash that subscribe button right now, hit the bell so you don't miss a single moment, and join this movement. Because stories like this are more than entertainment. They're warnings, they're reflections, they're fire that lights the path to truth. Your support keeps these stories alive. Now, let's step into the moment. He didn't look like power. He didn't look like money. He didn't look like influence. He looked like simplicity itself. Plain button-down shirt faded at the collar, dark slacks that had been ironed one too many times, shoes softened from years of wear, laces barely holding together. His skin glowed under the burning noon sun, rich, dark, undeniable, the very skin that made him a target. His eyes were sharp, calm, the kind of eyes that had seen storms and chosen not to flinch. He walked steady, carrying himself with the dignity of a man who knew who he was, even if nobody else around him did. No entourage, no flashing cars. Just him, his silence, and a presence that demanded respect, even when clothed in humility. This man was the governor of the state. But at this moment, nobody knew. The officer saw him, not his name, not his position, not his humanity. He only saw skin, and in that skin he saw threat. He saw an excuse. He saw someone he could dominate. Without a word of reason, the cop shoved him in the chest. Hard. The man staggered back but did not fall. Gasps erupted from the crowd. The officer's voice roared again. "Didn't you hear me? I said you don't belong here." His hand gripped the man's shirt, yanking it forward like he was dragging a criminal off the street. The crowd stiffened. Some turned away, pretending it wasn't happening. Others raised phones high, recording every second. And the man, this calm, humble figure, said nothing. His silence was louder than the officer's rage. Minutes bled into one another. The officer barked insults, each louder, harsher, crueler than the last. He called him a vagrant. He called him a nobody. He demanded he kneel. And when the man did not move, did not argue, did not raise his hands, the cop's fury boiled higher. A shove to the shoulder, a slap to the chest, a violent push that sent the governor stumbling onto one knee. The crowd gasped again, some murmuring, some whispering, some frozen between fear and shame. Phones clicked, videos streamed. The world was watching, but nobody was helping. Still, the man didn't speak. He didn't fight. He didn't plead. He simply lifted his head, straightened his back, and stared at the officer with calm, unbroken eyes. Dignity wrapped around him like armor, invisible but unshakable. Every insult that tried to break him fell flat against that silence. Every shove that tried to crush him only revealed how unmovable he truly was. The officer shouted louder. "On your feet! Get out of here before I drag you out myself!" His fists clenched. His jaw tightened. His authority fed by rage and ignorance. And still, no words. Just calm breathing. Just unbroken presence. Just a black man who carried himself like a king, though dressed like a commoner. The plaza grew thick with tension. The crowd swelled. Whispers spread. Who is he? Why doesn't he fight back? Why isn't he saying anything? Some people shook their heads, disgusted at the cop's abuse. Others smirked, entertained by the spectacle. The weight of silence pressed harder than the weight of noise. Every second felt longer. Every humiliation stretched deeper. Then came the breaking point. The officer shoved him again, harder this time, his spit flying as he yelled, "Trash like you will never belong here." He raised his hand, ready to strike, ready to end the scene with a blow. And just then, chaos cracked the air. Black SUVs screeched into the plaza. Doors flung open. Men in suits rushed out, IDs flashing, security forming a wall. The crowd erupted in shouts, confusion, disbelief. The officer froze, hands still raised. His eyes darted. His arrogance began to drain. The governor rose, slowly, calmly. He dusted off his faded shirt, adjusted the cuff of his sleeve, straightened his back, and stood taller than he had all day. The men in suits surrounded him, their presence confirming what the officer had yet to grasp. Then the words ripped through the crowd. "That's the governor!" Gasps exploded. Phones zoomed in closer. The officer's mouth opened, but no words came. His hand trembled in the air before falling to his side like dead weight. His face drained pale. The man who had been called trash was the most powerful man in the state. The man forced to his knees was the leader of them all. And in that moment, silence roared louder than any insult ever could. The officer staggered back, tripping over his own arrogance. His authority shattered. His pride demolished. His badge meant nothing in the face of truth. The governor looked at him, not with hate, not with vengeance, but with a calm that burned hotter than fire. His eyes spoke. "You tried to strip me of dignity, but you only revealed your own shame." He didn't raise his voice. He didn't retaliate. He didn't need to. His dignity, unbroken, stood taller than the tallest tower in that plaza. The crowd, once silent, erupted in noise. Gasps, shouts, cheers, disbelief. Phones streamed the humiliation of the officer across every platform. The world now watched not the abused man, but the abuser undone. And in the middle of it all, the governor walked steady, calm, untouchable, each step echoing justice without a single word. This is why we tell these stories, because dignity can be attacked, humiliated, crushed to the ground, but it will never be destroyed, because racism, arrogance, hate, they burn themselves out in the fire of truth. And because the world needs to remember, the people you try to step on may just be the very ones who stand above you. And now, if you felt that power, if you felt that fire, if you know this story deserves to be heard by more, smash that subscribe button right now. Hit the bell so you never miss what's coming next. Drop a comment telling us where you're watching from, and share this video with someone who needs to know the truth. This is Justice and Redemption Stories, where we reveal the masks, we uncover the lies, and we show the power of dignity in the face of hate. Stay strong, stay aware, and always, always stand for truth.